Aquaman 15, written by Jeff Johns, art by Paul Pelletier. Picking up right after Justice League 15, a bunch of cities got flooded. I think two of them. And Gotham got hit next, and we open up with Gotham being hit by a tidal wave, and Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock just kind of floating around in the water. And Aquaman comes by, because they were up on the roof with the bat signal, and picks him up and takes him to safety. And Batman's like, hey, Jim, your daughter's safe. I know you're worried about that. Meanwhile, what were you doing up on the roof? And he's like, oh, something about the Scarecrow's goons. And he's like, yeah, I took care of that in Justice League, man. Keep up. We need you to, like, rescue as many people as possible, like, get it, stuff like that. We rescued as many as we could. And Jim's like, okay, but how many didn't get rescued? And there's a lot. There are a lot of deaths in this. And it's just like, all right, well, we're doing what we can. This is an attack by Atlantis. And Jim's like, I'm sorry, Atlantis? Aquaman, you're actually from Atlantis? I thought that was like a gimmick. And it's like, what do you mean a gimmick? And it's like, well, Mad Hatter says he's from Wonderland. He's not actually from Wonderland. So we see Mara is trying to basically hold the tide back, hold this entire tidal wave. And she is working so hard that she ends up basically just breaking. She has blood coming out of her nose, and she just starts falling off a building. Arthur jumps off, grabs her, saves her, and she's like, no, you did a great job. You did what you could. And she's like, I could feel so many bodies inside that water. There are so many dead people. And Mara tells Arthur, like, you need to tell them exactly what these plans are. First, it's the tidal waves, then it's the ground assault, and then she gets cut off by Arthur being like, I know. I just want to keep that part secret between us so that if it comes to that, we'll deal with it, but maybe it won't. And I won't have to confess to those things. And it's just like, all right, well, you should tell them regardless, because then they're going to sink whatever city they're going to do in the end. So we cut back over to Metropolis, where Superman is x-raying Volko, and he's like, I think he's okay, but like he doesn't even have any lungs, so I don't know. But as they are looking over him, he wakes up and he's like, I have to find King Arthur. And Superman tells him, like, calm down. And Volko just throws him across the town square and just like, there's no time. We have to go. And so Wonder Woman holds him at sword point and was just like, don't do that again. And he's like, sorry, my apologies. Atlantis, coming right up. We kind of need to deal with that now, and I need to go find Arthur. So Aquaman's hitching a ride with Batman on the Batjet and basically explains everything of Atlantis. They were attacked. They thought the missiles were on purpose, and so they are launching this attack on the mainland. These were war plans that Arthur and his brother laid out, because Arthur went and found Atlantis, became its rightful king, which his brother was totally for, and then an uprising happened because they didn't like that he was like half-breed with a human. So they came up with war plans so that he could be like the strong leader that these Atlanteans want. But then the whole dark side invasion thing happened, and Arthur decided, like, maybe I should be protecting the water from the surface. So he let his brother take back the crown, and he lived up on the mainland. So that's how that all played out. And Batman's like, okay, weren't you the one that told the League to not keep secrets? And Arthur's like, yeah, I know. I get it. Shut up. So at that point, the little radar thing goes off. They're attacked by some sort of missile. They both eject. And Arthur's like, yeah, that one was meant for you, because even during my planning back in the day, I recognized that you were going to be a threat. And Batman's like, oh, don't flatter me. Who else is a human threat? And it turns out the only other major one is Stephen Shin, the doctor who exposed Aquaman. So back up the Watchtower. Superman, Wonder Woman, Volko, Batman, and Aquaman have all made their way up there. When Volko sees Aquaman, he kneels before him. It's just like, oh, my true king, I've come for you. They've launched the attack on the surface. I know that the missiles were an accident. And it's just like, yeah, but we know all that, Volko. You're not giving us new information here. So at that point, they know that somebody hacked the missiles in order to frame the land for this attack, but they don't know who yet. And we see a glimpse of the trench coming out of the trench and coming up to feed. So we get to sit down. Everyone's basically saying, like, all right, what should Aquaman do? And Superman's like, we need a plan of action to get back down there to Earth. Volko says, you need to go to your brother and just stop this war before it starts. He's just talk him down. And Superman's like, this war already started. He drowned 3 cities. He's a super villain now, and we need to go take him in. And Aquaman's like, all due respect, Superman, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. This is my brother. It was my kingdom. I will go fix this. I will go talk to him. And they're like, no. But then Batman stands up for him and says, okay, you get one chance. Go bring in your brother. So we go down to the Boston. We see Boston was hit the hardest. So that's where the Atlanteans are planning to attack. And Orm comes up, grabs 2 sailors and says, like, where is your king? Where is King Arthur? And everyone's like, what are you talking about, man? And he's about to, like, suffocate one of them because he mocks their need for air. And Arthur steps up and he's like, hey, bro, it's me. Let him go. And he's like, hey, question for you, bro. You lead these people. Why did they attack us? And he's like, I don't lead these people, bro. And I keep saying bro, but they actually just keep saying brother. But it's funnier to me if they say bro. So at that point, he reveals, like, no, I don't lead the people up here. It's complicated. I'm a hero. It's not done the way that it's done down in Atlantis. And he's like, okay, well, let me tell you what is going to happen. We are going to come up here. We're going to attack a city. If they give in and accept Atlantean rule, then we will, like, whatever, we'll let everybody live. But if they want a war, then at the very least, we're going to sink one of their cities as a little parting gift of, like, and remember the name. So Aquaman's like, no, that's a bad idea. And I need you to come with me, like, really soon. But it's too late. Justice League comes through a boom tube, and they're like, Arthur, we were listening through the comms, and it sounds like your brother is not going to come willingly, so we're here to back you up. And Aquaman's like, please don't. You are literally making things so much worse right now. And Batman basically says, like, all right, look, there's Atlanteans. We gave you a shot, but we got to step in now. And Arthur just turns around being like, all right, sorry, but you leave me no choice. And he grabs Batman by the throat and says, you forced my hand. So is Aquaman secretly betraying the Justice League and mankind? Probably not. I can't see any reason why that would be a thing. But hey, that's the cliffhanger we're leaving on. So I like it. It's definitely the explanation issue. It's the one where it's just, okay, we got all this stuff we got to get out in terms of backstory and the decisions that need to be made. It had to happen, and I think it did it well enough. Paul Pelletier's art is really, really, really good at mimicking Ivan Reyes. I don't know if it's his natural style, but it really flowed nicely to the point where I read this back-to-back with the previous issue, and I could not even tell the difference in art. So fantastic job there. Yeah, not much more to really say about it. It looked good. It flowed good. It's just a solid issue. Overall, I'm going to give this one an 8. Yeah, I think the next issue is again in Justice League, and we will pick up there.